As a preliminary matter, I, Joyce Maturis, Chair of the Newbury Council on Aging Board of Directors, permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Please answer in the affirmative. Bill?
Yes.
Evelyn?
Yes.
Jerry? Not here. I'll come back to her. Janine?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And the staff, Cindy and Irene?
Karen.
Erin, I should have written it down because my memory doesn't do well at this age. Erin, there we are. So this is the introduction to the remote meeting. Oh, Michael, I forgot you as a guest. Sorry.
That's all right.
All right. Good afternoon. This December 21st, 2020 open meeting of the Newbury Council on Aging Board of Directors is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020. Due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus, in order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all the meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For this meeting, the Council on Aging Board of Directors is convening by telephone, conference video, conference via Zoom, as posted on the agenda of the Council on Aging Board of Directors section of the town's website, identifying how the public may join. You may join us by going to http://zoom.us and enter meeting ID 846-3429131 using password 529945 or calling 1-929-205-6099. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that attendees are participating by video and/or telephone conference. Meeting materials were provided to the board members prior to the meeting for review. Applicants or their representatives may be called upon to speak and, if needed, share information to the screen. Please state intention after you've been called. These are the ground rules. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I, the chair, will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone. Number *6 to toggle mute, unmute, or computer mute button when you are not speaking. Please use earbuds, earphones with tablet cell phones. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. Please be aware that video participants can see you and that you should take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. Board members should be called upon in first name, alphabetic order to ease the process. If board committee members wish to engage in colloquy with other members, please do so through the chair. Take care to identify yourself. Public comment. We're getting there. After board members have spoken, the chair will afford the public comment as follows. The chair will see questions through the raise hand function for video conference participants. This function can be accessed by clicking the participants option listed in the menu below the photo gallery. Hover your cursor in this area if you don't see it. Window will open and display on the right on the bottom of this participant area. You will see the list of phone/video participants, and on the bottom, you will see the ability to click on a button to raise hand. Please ensure your name is displayed. You may rename by using the more function next to your name. List your name, address, and then question. Telephone participants can use their phone keypad while in a Zoom meeting to raise hand by hitting *9. The chair will then see questions from the public that have hit the raise hand button in the order of which they are listed. The participant will be called on to identify their name and address and then their questions. The chair will afford the applicant or their representative the opportunity to reply. Your hands will be lowered when you have been given the floor for your question. The board will continue down the list of those in the raised hand column and again afford the applicant or representative an opportunity to speak. Should there be a physical or electronic submittal of questions or concerns, they will read for the record, and again, the applicant representative will be afforded the opportunity to speak if the issues raised have not been addressed. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call. Additional agenda items will be called upon and handled in the same manner. That's it.
Thank
So,
God.
no, Jerry. So we'll continue with the call to order, and let's open the meeting. We'll do a roll call to open the meeting, and Sandy, you've got the time. You're muted, Sandy, I'm sorry, but you've got the time.
Right, do I
So,
list it as 109 or when we started and you started reading?
I think it's now. I think at this point, we're opening the meter. It says a call to order.
Okay,
I'm not 100% sure of that, but I don't think it's a big deal. So,
okay, 109 it is.
all right.
Joyce, there should be
So-
a motion to open, though.
What, honey?
There should be a motion to open.
Oh, thank you. I will
Okay.
entertain a motion to open the meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Okay.
Thank you. Now I'll do a roll call. And lost my list. Here we go. Bill,
Yes.
Evelyn, not here, absent. Jerry?
I'm here.
Oh, Evelyn, I'm sorry. That's funny. Reading that long thing is an accomplishment. I have to recover. Janine,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes,
and Cindy doesn't vote on this, so Joyce, I say yes. So the meeting is now opened, and we'll get the first item on the agenda, and it's to review and approval of the November 16, 2020 meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve.
Second the motion.
Thank you. And so the minutes have been approved.
No, roll call, I'm sorry. Do a roll
Okay.
call.
I have to take a vote on that.
Yeah,
All right.
you gotta
Thank
take a
you.
vote.
Glad you're here, Michael. I made all sorts of notes, but I'll
That's, that's all right. It's like,
do a roll call on accepting the meeting minutes because now the motion's been made and it's approved and now we'll vote on it. Bill?
Well, quite honestly, I wasn't an attendee at that meeting, but I have all the confidence in the world that Sandra captured the thought process correctly. So I
Bill,
should
Yeah.
say
did you get,
yes,
Bill, did you get the copy I sent you?
yes, I did. And I
Good.
reviewed it. Thank you very much for
Good,
doing that.
okay.
So I say yes.
So Evelyn,
Yes.
Janine,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes,
Joyce, yes. So the next thing on the agenda is for the director, Cindy, and it's a review of the Council on Aging expenses since our last meeting.
Okay, since our last meeting, one of the things we did was send out a newsletter. So I had to go out and purchase these clear mailing seals. So I could fold the newsletter in half and seal them. You can't just send them out. So that's one of our expenses, which I actually paid for out of pocket and got reimbursed from the town. Janet had a couple of expenses too. One was we had the previous director, Maggie, and the previous program coordinator, Gail, were given citations from Senator Tarr's office. We had some refreshments that Janet had picked up. So that is one of her expenses. And then Amazon, there was a new laptop battery that had to be purchased for her laptop for the outreach coordinator. So that's there. And then the other expense was $75 for a caroling program, which is currently running on Channel 9. We split that expense with several other councils on aging in the area. So it turned out to only be $75 for our council, which was a pretty good deal. And we get to run that all of the holiday season. So it's actually going to be on twice a day moving forward. It was on this morning, I think Ethan said at 8:30, a little after 8:30. It's going to air again this evening at a little past 9. Tomorrow it will be on at 10 in the morning and then again a little after 8:30. So we're trying to run it. And Evelyn, I'm going to send you like a flyer if you don't mind posting that in the Oak Ridge and Quaker Hill community rooms, just so we
Okay,
can.
will do.
Okay, thank you. But those were the expenses since the last meeting.
Thank you, Cindy. If anybody has any questions, you can speak up. If not, we'll proceed. Go ahead, Sandy. You're muted, hon.
is it important to list the amounts of each item? In other words, in the past, I've listed, Cindy, your reimbursement for the mailers and the refreshments. Is it important that we record that? Because the only amount I have is the $75 for the
Battery.
Do you have them written there by any chance?
I do have them written down.
We've
So you got
always
the-
done,
Do you want me
we've
to?
always done that in the past, so why don't we continue in that? If you
Okay.
don't mind just reviewing, so Sandy can pick up the
Sure.
amount.
All right, so Sandy, you got the $75 for the caroling program.
right?
And I have a total of $55.21 for the mailing labels. I have a mileage reimbursement too. I'm sorry that this was stapled together for Janet when she did she had to deliver, she had to deliver some paperwork for a NEAT client that needed to be seen right away. So instead of putting it in the mail and having it, she got reimbursed for mileage. That was $6.67. Her refreshments was a total of $8.28. And the laptop battery charge was $65.98.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. There's no need for us to approve this. It's already spent. It's just a formality that we do every month. So if nobody else has any questions, or Cindy, now we'll move on. And the next thing on the agenda is the update from the COA director.
Okay, so as I mentioned when everyone was coming on, behind me is Karen Spangler. She's our new program coordinator. She just started today. She has several years of experience as a COA program director down on the Cape in Orleans. So we've actually been talking a lot today about different ideas we have. I've talked to her about virtual programming. We're going to get on some yoga and other things that we want to get on the cable channel. So she is going to be working on that. The second thing I wanted to talk about was the virtual programs that are already on, aside from the caroling program that we've got. I'm running a few things from Care Dimensions. There's one program about an introduction to hospice and care dimensions, one about palliative care, and another one about National Healthcare Decisions Day, which is actually in April, but it's just good information about what kind of decisions people should be making in advance of having a crisis. There is also several other programs I've sent over to Ethan at the Newbury channel. One is from a home care agency about how to navigate the emergency room. The owner of that agency is a registered nurse, and she goes through the process of what kind of documents you should bring with you, how you should be prepared for a visit to the emergency room. And then Elder Services of Merrimack Valley and the North Shore has a program called All Things Aging, and I've requested those programs get run periodically too. And again, there's just more information about, there's one about Shine, options, counseling, family caregiver support, different information for people out there. So I've put all those over to the cable channel, but like I said, Karen and I are going to work to get some more activity-like programs on instead of just information. So that's as far as that goes. We sent the newsletter out in December, which I'm sure most of you got. We mailed out 2,397 newsletters. I had a mailing list here in the database system that we have, which was, I want to say about 1,100 or 1,200 people. I reached out to the town clerk to see if I could get an updated mailing list for residents 60 plus in the town. And she sent me a list of 2,400 people. So in essence, we doubled our mailing list. I'm going to work on that mailing list because some were sending a newsletter to both spouses in one home. So I'm going to work on that. So it will help, save on postage a little bit, and people don't necessarily need 2 newsletters in the same household. Some people actually reached out to say they were happy to get it, but they don't need 2. Some people said that they wanted to be on the email newsletter list instead of getting it in the mailbox. So I will work on that. I am also working with my senior center, which is the database that we use to update our mailing list so that all of that information from the town list is in our database so that we can have better control over who we're sending things to. As I mentioned before, with the expenses, we did do the citations from Senator Bruce Tarr's office. Joyce and Mike were here for that. It was just a brief sort of recognition of Maggie and Gail for their service to the senior center. So that was done the beginning of December. I think that went really well. We did the successful grab and go meal. That was done on December 9th. We had advertised it in the newsletter. We had reserved 20 meals. We got 20 people who were interested. I went to Newburyport Council on Aging, which is where our meals were delivered, picked them up. Everything was all packaged. All we had to do was put everything in a bag to hand them out. We included the little goodie bags that we had put together here that I handed out at Quaker Hill and Oak Ridge and have some left for Newberry Village. Has a little green book in it, which is a resource book for people, a little booklet about how to talk, things to talk to your doctor about when you go to a visit, a file of life magnet, a surgical mask, and a little individual hand sanitizer. So we actually ended up putting one of those gift bags in each of the grab and go bags too. So that was pretty successful. In the newsletter, we mentioned the Snow Angels, which is a program through Triton School District where they match volunteers. So generally it's, high school age, middle school age kids and their families who will shovel for elders in the community. We had, I want to say 28 residents who called interested
Nice.
in that. Not all of them have been matched yet. Actually, Julie Romano, who runs that program, and I were emailing back and forth on Thursday during the storm. She had matched a few other people. There's still a few that are waiting for volunteers. It's a little bit difficult. She's recruiting. It's really difficult on Plum Island to get volunteers. So if you know of students in the Plum Island area who would love to have some volunteer hours, or anywhere in town, really, we can use it. Right now I have 4 more people on the wait list. So it's pretty popular. But if we can, you know, the more people we can help, the better. And then the last thing I wanted to mention was the Boston Post came. So we initially had that presentation scheduled for November, and we had to put that on hold. And then we were going to do this the last Wednesday. And again, we put it on hold just because of the increasing COVID numbers and whatnot. We didn't want to expose Mrs. Matthew to anything, or her, you know, her daughter, who was hopefully going to be there. So we've put it on hold. I let her know I'll reach out to her after the holidays to see if we can reschedule.
Okay.
But-
Well, thank you, Cindy. And where we only meet once a month, I'd like to initiate, if you don't mind, the opportunity for anyone that's on the board to ask a question that they might have. Are you okay with that?
Of course.
Okay. So, Bill, I know, would you have a question?
Yeah, sort of. My friends in Boxford are beneficiaries to smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms for the fire department through something called a SAFE program. And it's a grant that the fire department has to request. And I've done some research on it, Cindy. It's administered by the Council of Aging in Boxford, and maybe when you have some free time, you could contact them and find out
Absolutely.
more details about it, okay?
Okay.
Newbury has not, as far as I can tell, has not been awarded one of these grants for the past 4 years. And for fiscal year 21, the expiration date to participate or request a grant has already passed. So I did bring it up to the Board of Selectmen one night. I think, Mike, you were there. You may not recall that presentation, but I thought that Tracy was going to check it out a little bit with the fire chief. But I think it's worthwhile. I mean, honestly, I'm a senior myself, and I don't think my house is equipped with the proper carbon monoxide alarms that it should. And in Boxford, the fire department literally gives the people these awards from the grant, these devices from the grant. And when it's time to change the batteries, the fire department actually goes and changes the batteries. So I think it's a great thing for the seniors to have.
Yep.
If it saved if it saved one life, it would be worth it.
Right. True.
Bill, do you want me to check with Tracy on that, or do you want to follow through?
I'll do it, Mike. You probably have your hands full being Santa Claus.
Just for 4 more days, Bill. Just for 4 more days.
Thank you, Bill. That was great. Evelyn?
I have a question, Cindy, on communication as far as everything that you've mentioned sounds great. But if you recall, when you were at the housing, they didn't even know there was a Channel 9. So I'm just wondering how we let the folks know that those programs are out there. You mentioned the letters you want me to post for the Christmas Carol session, but how do we let them know?
So what I'm going to do, Karen and I were talking about this morning. In our next newsletter, we're going to put, you know, sort of a broad, I don't want to say specific programs that will be on, but I want them to know that they can tune in at this time and this time on these days. So that will go out in the newsletter. I'm also going to have Susan push out a message on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter about programming. And then we'll put it on our website too. So I think the way we're going to reach the most people obviously will be in the newsletter. But again, if you can post these, maybe not just in your community room, I don't know if you want to throw it on the doors or whatever that's going to, or, you know, I can print a bunch out if you want to come here and pick them up, and we can have you pass them out.
Just
you know.
just email it to me and I'll
Okay.
make copies.
Okay, all right, but it will go out in the next newsletter, which we want to do a January, February newsletter, which ideally will go out sometime the beginning of January. So I actually have another program that I'm looking to do for New Year's Eve, which I think we can run all of January. It's a 30-minute program. It's like a light show kind of a thing. And that one, I believe I can start airing on New Year's Eve, but I will, again, the ultimate way I think is through the newsletter to reach most people. The people that are, I don't think a lot of people are on the social media, but my hope is that someone else will see it and let them know. But the
Correct.
more I can get it out there, the better. So I'll use social media, the website, and then again, those newsletters.
And I have one other question. Jack Rybicki called and he does plowing. I think he's involved with the Snow Angels with Triton too, but he mentioned if there's an elderly person that needs to be plowed out, that he could do that.
Can you send me his information?
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Are you all set, Evelyn?
I am, thank you.
You're welcome. We'll move on to Janine.
I don't have any questions, but I want to say thank you. You've certainly hit the road running, you know, as a good start. So
Good.
thanks.
You got it.
And last but not least, Sandy.
I don't have any questions, but I received a letter from Lenny Mira, and it was, I don't know why I got it, except that I've sent him letters complaining about things. So I must be on his list. But anyway, he sent me a letter saying to be cautious about COVID scams. And I was wondering if that isn't something that we might like to get out there, include on, of course, we'd have to ask him if permission to use it, but I thought it was great to have out there because I don't know about you guys, but I've gotten a Social Security call, scam, and email, and that type of thing, and they're really rampant right now. So the letter itself, I can send to you.
If you can forward it to me, and then we'll reach out to their office to see if we can, I think a great way to get it out there is in the newsletter.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we can always put something on our website too.
I thought
and
it
push
was
it out
great.
on-
I didn't even think of people doing that, but yeah, with the vaccines out and everything,
Yeah.
there's all kinds of crazy scams going on.
So I actually also got an email from the sheriff's office last week, and it has a bunch of scams that are targeting seniors. It's like a pamphlet. So I'm going to work with Susan to push this out on social media and have it on our website as well. But they're talking about all kinds of different scams. You know, the family caregiver scam, there's a home repair scam, the thing that we just put in our other newsletter, the unemployment scam that the police department had given us. So there's lots of different grandparent scam. You think you're getting a call from your grandchild and they need money to get bailed out. You know, all these kind of things are happening.
I actually got a PayPal scam. They said I needed my information updated, but it didn't look right. And I looked up at the top of, I looked at who it came from, and it definitely wasn't PayPal.
Right.
So-
And whenever we're sending this information out, I believe in the newsletter at the bottom of Chief Lucy's unemployment scam, he says, do not give your information out to anybody. So we'll just reiterate that to people too, to make sure they're not just, you know, don't just say your social security number or give a credit card number, you know.
Right.
We want to make sure people are not doing that.
Okay.
So
thank you.
Cindy, I have one question. On the delivery of the pickup, I should say, the curbside pickup of that meal. Is that going to happen again in January?
Yes, sorry, I am doing that in January. We're doing Wednesday, January 20th.
Will you be able to order more than 20 this time?
So this time I ordered 30. So I've so far gotten only one extra person interested. But I'll push it out again on social media. That's the reason why we got that one call. A woman's daughter saw it and she told her mother and she ended up calling us. So, but if you know of someone who you think would be interested, tell them to call me.
Okay.
The meal is a bean and beef chili, a garden salad, and chocolate mousse for dessert. And they'll come here. We actually ordered word search books and pencils to go in the bag too, just to give people a little activity.
Nice.
And when we do it again the following month, we'll order something else to put in the bag because we want to, try
Very,
and give them
I
a
love
little
that
something to do.
little extra touch.
Yeah.
Yes, so, well, that's all. I want to thank you too for your enthusiasm and pushing ahead and adding more to what our Council on Aging does. And now that you have your helper,
Yes, Karen and we are
Ready to
Yeah.
go.
we are.
it's only going to get better.
You got it.
All right, so as far as Michael, I'll let you have something to say at the end if you'd like to.
Sure.
Okay. Review of the COA space needs. Nothing has changed on that. I'm sure you saw the minutes that were sent out on our meeting with Jeff Shaw. I think that's his last name, the architect. Have you heard anything from him, Cindy?
Nothing yet.
No, so we're just waiting from him to reach out to us and come out with his first, well, what would you call it? His first schematic of what he is anticipating that we need as far as the space and needs assessment. So we'll leave that at that unless somebody has a question. All right, we will move on. I have no other business. And I think everybody's had their opportunity to speak. So I want to thank Michael for coming. And did you have anything, Mike, that you wanted to make?
I was just gonna say real quickly, another scam that's real prevalent right now on everyone is Amazon will send you a email saying they're holding your order because they don't have the correct credit card information. And it looks really good. So I'm just saying, it's like, they've got the whole logo down, they've got everything. Just be very careful. Once again, what you all said, do not give your information out to anyone.
All good advice.
Yeah.
So I see no reason why we shouldn't. Oh, Sandy, good. Go ahead.
I believe that it was mentioned sometime during the week that we had to authorize signatures. Cindy, help me. Didn't Eileen say that payroll signatures had to be assigned, or did you guys already address that?
So I addressed that actually with Tracy and Eileen, and it turns out right now that's on hold. I know when everything goes through town meeting with the bylaws and whatnot for the Council on Aging, this might be readdressed, but for right now, I am signing all of the bill schedules, and then I'm signing everyone's timesheet, and then Tracy will sign my timesheet.
Okay, I had
So for
just
right
seen
now,
that.
it's all- yeah, no, we did discuss it before. Thank you. So for right now, it's status quo, but again, it might change once this is brought in front of town.
Okay,
meeting.
thanks.
You got it.
I think that probably came, Sandy, to an email just to me. And that's why you didn't know that she had taken care of it.
Okay,
Thank you, Cindy, for that. On the guide for board members, I'm sure you all have your copy. I'd like at some point, we'll have a discussion on this, but I think the best thing to do now is just use it as a guide, and till after town meeting, our bylaws are all set, and then we can move on and see if we want to make any changes to our responsibilities that are listed, because we are allowed to have our own responsibilities listed in the guide for our board members. So in saying that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
a second.
We're adjourned, or take a vote, a roll call.
Happy holidays, everybody. It was nice to meet you all.
Merry
Oh, thank
Christmas.
you.
Merry
Erin.
Christmas.
We
Merry
just
Christmas.
have to take a vote on this, but you guys don't have to stay. Bill,
Yes.
Evelyn,
Yes.
Janine,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes, but can I ask about Karen's last name so I get it correct?
Spangler, Spangler.
Thank you, yes.
Yeah. Joyce matures, yes, and everybody have a Merry Christmas, and the meeting is adjourned.
Merry
Thank you.
Christmas,
Merry
everybody.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas all.
Yeah.
Bye now,
Bye-bye.
thank you.